stuff like that. So I just wanted staff NCOs to be overly involved with the Marines. And I think that the problem that I have is I set the bar so high of what I wanted them to do that they almost couldn't meet it. But I will tell you, over the last 5 or 6 years, I've met some amazing staff NCOs that have far exceeded what I was hoping they would do and what I had hoping they would be. So, I think, what makes me feel good about myself at the end of the day when I retire is that the Marine Corps is going to keep going with some great staff NCOs.
I like that. What about you, Master Gunner? I know you're not typically at like a whole company level, but what like I know obviously you have staff NCOs underneath your charge. So what are your expectations of your staff NCOs that were your high standard for them?
My expectation was the consistency and having the compassion to teach. We all can instruct, but teaching is the transfer of knowledge. So giving back to what you have learned and giving it back to them and understanding that you're only here for a moment and it's your opportunity, it's your right, it's your duty to give back to those junior Marines and take care of them and be invested in them because you're only as strong as your weakest PFC. So trying to live that and articulate that at the same time, being the example and like Sarmeda said, you're pushing them because you have the hopes, because in my mind, if I can do it, I figure anybody can do it. So, that frustration of just you see the excellence in them. It's just they don't see it in themselves and you're trying to push them, and sometimes you can push them to the point where they get out or whatever. So.
I like that. So I don't have any questions right now in my chat, but do you have anything, Moody?
Yep, I got some good stuff over here. So, you see my background, Superman, Batman, you know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to take a trip back on memory lane when you were that young gunnery sergeant. You might have to dig it back, go back again. What made you decide, the M and the F route? What was it that sparked your interest or sparked your fire, your flame to say, this is what I want to do? And this is, or no, I don't want to do this. Because we got a lot of staff sergeants coming out. That gunny board should be coming out sometime soon. So I know that was a burning question once I picked up gunnery sergeant. Now I really have to decide. What was that deciding factor for you?
So it's a twofold decision for me. Number one is I was a grunt growing up. And when I hit gunny, the infantry is a young man's game. So what I did, I didn't want to spend the next, 13 years of my career doing I'm up, they see me, I'm down type of stuff. If you think about this, right? So, I've explained the difference between a master guns and a sergeant major to a bunch of people. And I always spend hours doing that. And I had a good friend of mine who's a CEO of a company that sat down and I gave him the whole spiel and he goes, all right, so let me understand this. So if I go skiing this weekend and I injure my knee and I go to the ER doctor is going to say, you messed up your knee. You need to, stay off it. And then on Monday, you need to see the specialist. So the ER doctor would be a sergeant major and the specialist would be a master guns. And I was like, that is exactly right. So I wanted to be more of a jock of all trades where I could go to any unit and go to any part of the Marine Corps where I didn't have to stay as a specialist infantryman.
Okay. Master guns, where we at?
You in that
Motivate me. Motivate me.
For me, because I've had friends on both sides. I've had mentors that went both routes. For me, I felt that as a master gunnery sergeant or as a master sergeant, that I can not only impact the Marine Corps, but also impact my MOS specifically. So, at the end of the day, we are staff NCO of Marines, I am not a master sergeant of food service. So you never forget that you are a Marine first and whatever that MOS is second. So for me, I saw where the problem was. I saw where my concern was, and I felt I could be more of an impact to the institution by simply going the route that I did. I can still do some of the same things on the other side, correcting the basic Marine Corps fundamentals and making sure that we are upholding the ethos of the Marine Corps. But at the same token, I knew that what we were doing in our MOS, I could be more of an asset in that direction. So,
okay, all right.
So
but just for y'all know, I'm going Mass Sergeant. So
that's what she
food service stand up. Nah, food service stand up.
So
you are needed.
I don't see any questions on my particular party, but are there any? I'm about to go check the actual Ask a Vet page.
I have one from Jenny. She wants to know what's your guys' opinion on Marines participating in other services training?
Good question.
That's a great question. I'll tell you, one of the things that we have got to get better at in the Marine Corps is becoming purple. So doing the multi, service type of talking and just communicating, because the four services talk in completely different languages, which is, there's good reason for it for sure. But as we continue down the road in the 21st and 22nd century, we have got to be able to communicate with our brothers and sisters in the other services. So if you can go into a school and get some, a couple months or a couple weeks or a couple days of training and learning, kind of their isms, that's a great advantage to you. I was fortunate. I got to go to the Senior Enlisted Academy for the Navy, and I spent 8 weeks in Rhode Island, and it was absolutely incredible. And it really kind of peeled the onion back about the deck plate leadership that the chiefs do and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible. So every opportunity you get to go do any kind of training with multi-services, jump on it 100%.
Well, for me, I actually got experience, obviously, in Afghanistan, working with other services, and, being with food service, you kind of start using other people's gear when you got to get a meal put out. So my experience with other branches of service, was a benefit for me. And I think we have to be realistic, like Sarmaj said. We have to be realistic that in the direction that we're going, especially as a Marine Corps, we're trimming the forces down. So we're trying to be lean and lethal. And you're going to have to learn how to use assets that are not organic to us. I got the chance to go to a joint logistics course where I got to learn the language. And if you think the Marine Corps has got a bunch of acronyms, we have nothing on the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the FBI. Everybody's got a whole bunch of acronyms, and in the logistical world, having to piece those things, the chain link those things together to get support to the ground pounders out there is a humbling experience, because the Marine Corps is a bunch of alpha male, alpha females, and we rah. But at the end of the day, we are a very small piece of the support that goes out to the world. So I think if you do have the opportunity to train and talk with other branches of service, you definitely should take the advantage of it. Moody, go to Joint Logistics course.
Yes, Mr. Gunnery, sorry.
Now you got to do it.
Writing that down. Not a problem. I agree. I agree with it. I started doing the Naval War College, and a lot of times we do these online courses because it's like, oh, this will look good for my promotion, and you're taken away from everything that it has to offer. And while I'm doing it, I'm learning a lot of stuff about the Navy that I did not know, and that's we're a department of, I'm like the cousin, what I'm saying? I should know about my cousin, see what's going on over there. And I'm learning a lot of stuff, and I find it so, it's interesting. And then when I go talk to my shipmates, I can actually hold a conversation that's got more to do than just changing my stocks and getting some motion from. So, totally agree on getting that training in with other services and understanding. I think that's really is going to propel you as a leader, because you'll be able to speak on different experiences and give that and bring that, excuse me, and weave it into our Marine Corps.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that. Yeah, different point of views, different angles, and just different perspectives on certain things, like especially from like the different branches point of view. It's awesome. And that kind of brings me to I was actually speaking to somebody in the Air Force. And so, for example, before you can become a corporal, you have to do corporal's course before you can get to corporal. I know for us, while you're a corporal is when you do it. I mean, you can also do it while you're selected. You know, we have that, but they have to pass corporal's course before even being selected. So, and when I was told that, it kind of shocked me because we think a little different about that, but it makes complete sense. Why not have an idea of how to be that next rank before being it? You know, because I've noticed like a lot of people jump into a rank and they're still kind of lost and trying to figure out how to be it. But if you already have that idea from a formal school, you know, what better way to go into a rank? I have already knowing certain expectations. You know, obviously as leaders, you're supposed to tell your people what to expect. But, you know, let's be honest, we kind of get thrown into that position sometimes and kind of, you know, sink or swim. So I kind of like that. So we got a couple comments. So we got Anisha Shally. Hopefully I didn't just butcher that. She says, I agree. And leaders sending our young Marines to these trainings and not holding them hostage in these shops. I've kind of seen that a little bit too, where everybody's like, oh, they're so important in the shop. They're so important. And it's like, if they're that important, then hook them up. You know what I'm saying?
I bust that bubble on a daily. I make sure I tell Marie, hey, you are not important. You are replaceable.
That's right. And the problem is that if they're that important, they should be meritorious promoted every day then until they're running the organization. There's no reason that you can't let somebody go and get educated and learn more about their skills or skill sets that's going to help their unit. And you know, there's nothing more criminal, I think, than somebody that's hostage in somebody's ability to go get a formal school.
No, I mean, if you feel, in my opinion, if you feel that this shop cannot function without that Marine there, what does that say about you as a leader? You know, because at the end of the day, take your blouse off, you know, get in the fight. You know, if anything, for me, I take it as an advantage. I send you off to school, I get in the weeds and, you know, and relive my glory days right next to you, you know, to keep the shop going, you know. But if you send them off and you educate them and you're arming them with more knowledge, you know, it's just a benefit to everybody else. So I've never bought into that. And unfortunately in my career, I was that guy where, hey, you're so good, stay there. You know, you're so good, stay there. You're so good, you stay there. While all of my friends and some people who were mediocre, they had the certifications and I didn't, but I could do the job, you know, and I took that to heart, and you know, so I've patterned my career like I'll never hold a Marine back from educating themselves and do that to them.
Hey, I hope y'all out there hear that, because those two responses is like literally something that just needs to get sent across the Marine Corps right there. Like, quit holding people hostage. Allow people to grow. Allow them to grow. And if they're so important, just like Sergeant Major said, you should be meritorious. Like, my fit rep should be nasty. Like, there shouldn't be anywhere next to me if I'm that important to where I can't leave, you know? So, another comment from Brian O'Toole. He says, concur, be unselfish and let them go. They will normally come back better. Good for morale. And that sums up literally what you two gentlemen just said. This will be huge with retention. Most Marines want to get out after 4 years because they never get to go experience anything outside of their MOS or outside of their shop, for that matter. Honestly, that's completely right. If I wasn't able to go be a drone instructor, like, that was kind of my tipping point. I said, if I got out right now, would I regret anything? And my answer had nothing to do with the MOS. It had to do with the Marine Corps. And I said, I would regret getting out because I wasn't able to go be a drone instructor. So, I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
I think, well, personally, and Master Guns can attest, for food service, a lot of times we won't give up people to go do that enlisted aid program. Why, I don't know. But I encourage my Marines. I can't speak on it because I have not done it, but I go out and I find those that have done it that can come and talk to my guys and some aides that are on the base, hey, if you got something, you want some Marines to come help you, I'm willing. Hey, who wants to go over there? And I have a young Marine. She's amazing. Young Lance Corporal on a meritorious corporal board, looking like she's going to get it. I would love to keep her. Would love to keep her. But that devil dog's heart wants to go and do the aid program. Who am I to deny her that opportunity? You know, let her have that. Tell her, hey, go, but come bring it back. Bring it back to the fleet. You know, don't stay out there. Come back. But I would never hold her hostage.
The problem too is exactly what you're talking about. If you deny her that, and now she's going to get that bad taste in her mouth and be like, well, why would I want to stay in an organization that doesn't take care of me? Exactly. And by allowing her to get out there, now she spreads the goodwill, right? And she gets to go and have little brags about, hey, look what I did, right? Like, I mean, the enlisted aid program is amazing. We had when I worked at Mickey Pack, the Mickey Pack CG has an aide. So we got to go do a bunch of events with her, and she was phenomenal. And we used to take her to all the other camps. You know, I took her to Mujuk with us so that she could talk to the food service people about that, because that's an incredible program that I don't think enough people know about and definitely don't have enough support for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, you know, the Marine Corps has changed, you know, from what my goals and aspirations were as a young Marine. A lot of Marines just don't have the access to that nor. A lot, you know, the Marine Corps is going to a lot of contracts and have civilianized a lot of those things that are out there. So what is the career progression and what is attractive for that Marine? You know, so you have to, as a leader, you have to sell everything that's in there, because at the end of the day, I want you to stay Marine. I want you to stay Marine and do it bigger and better than me. So shame on me as a leader, I don't tell you everything that's out there for you. If you want to be a warrant officer one day, you want to be a drill instructor, you want to do MSG, you want to be a recruiter, you want to go into the enlisted aid program, it is my duty as a leader to make sure that you know everything that's out there for you and that you can reinvent yourself multiple times throughout the Marine Corps and do different things that will aid you one day when you do take the Superman, Superwoman suit off and go into the private sector. You can't sit up here and say, okay, well, because I don't know about it or because I didn't do it, that you shy away from a Marine doing it. If you're as good a leader as you say you are, let that one go and make another one. So
mic drop.
So Kirk Wayne Thompson says it opens more opportunities for leadership positions and joint service positions by being able to learn and work with other services, kind of like what we were talking about a little bit earlier. And April Mayfield was, is that your wife?
Yeah, get that shout out.
Oh, buddy.
Hey, bro.
Oh, buddy.
She said the issue is senior leaders don't want to work is why they don't let them go.
Ooh.
Hey, I'm gonna say this right now. I can't say that about Jason over here because he was always in the workspaces, always wanted to do something. He was every MOS constantly like, hey, what do you do? How does this work? Show me how this works. So there's definitely a lot of great senior leaders. So I can't necessarily co-sign with that answer, but I completely see what you're talking about. Maybe as a whole, but there's definitely some great individuals.
I've seen it. I've seen it, because guess what? That's what makes you that Marine that can't go anywhere, you know? And it's just because they're not willing to learn that job. So now me being the gunnery sergeant, being in charge of a shop, you know, I have to, even though you're like got a million and one things, like, hey, show me how this works. How does this, show me everything. And I will sit there with the corporal with my notepad and go step by step. And then I tell them, hey, the next time this comes up, I'm going to do it. And I want you here to just coach me, you know? And it also gives them, to me, it breaks down that wall that, you know, oh, Gunny know everything. No, I don't. We a team, and I depend on each and every last one of you to help us get to the finish line. You know, you can teach me something, I can teach you something. Inspire the old as well as the young. So
that's an absolute fact. Let me see if so do you, I know I can't see you at your feed, Moody. You got anybody in there that's got any comments or any questions?
I got another question from Jenny. She said, would you recommend the Skill Bridge program to all individuals or just certain ranks?
So I think you should take it for everybody could take it and, probably do it multiple times because, just like I think when I was in high school, I did terrible. All I wanted to do was graduate and join the Marine Corps, and hindsight is 2020. I should have learned how to be a better student because, when I did college and I was doing my college courses, I actually learned more because I had matured into a student. So I think it's good to take it at all different levels, but I would take it over or expound on it more as you get more ranked because you learn more from your environment that you're working with.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Skill Bridge, in all honesty, is fairly new for Marines. It's kind of like that's been hiding there the entire time, so I didn't know that it was available. And now that the cat's out of the bag. And to be honest with you, when we talk about other branches of service, the Army actually been doing it for a long time. They actually do 6 months. Getting it out there, like Tamara said, the maturity level of being able to do that in the right place. So much information is just thrown at you, and the opportunities to get into it. So, I mean, yes, I would recommend it for everybody, but again, the maturity level has to be there. So obviously, there should be a vetting process to who actually goes into it. So,
it's crazy because Anisha Shaldi was saying it's
Anisha, yeah.
Sorry, Shaldi was saying it's not new. We were just never told. She said she had to hunt for it as a staff sergeant. So, and this is why this show, Ask a Vet, is so good. Because we actually spoke about it. What was it, last week?
Push it out there. Yeah.
We actually spoke about it. I want to say last week. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know too much about Skill Bridge. I still got to do a little bit more research on it. But that's what's so good about having this show. You bring so much knowledge in one spot. I guarantee right now, like the go-getters are taking notes right now. Mm-hmm. Every one of our shows, they got their little notepad or their little MacBook Pros or write their little notes down. Because there's a lot of good information that get passed, especially from two gentlemen that actually have lived that life. So we got Kirk Wayne Thompson says, my math sergeant at the time let me go work at the MEPS. 2 years later, I came back and worked with him at another unit. Damn, 2 years at the MEPS? What MOS are you? I don't know about 2 years now. Hey, I tried to go TAD to the basketball team when I was a junior Marine. They weren't having it.
Like, sit down.
No, we don't. No, you can't do that.
There were so many people that were TAD. I was like, how come I can't go TAD? Nah, if you're Air Wing, you most likely, the only time you're getting fepped out is the barracks duty or something like that, or the chow hall.
Or PMO.
Yeah, PMO.
They didn't send him to FAP TAD to no basketball team because they saw his skills at the basketball PT session. That's why. You ain't about to be out there embarrassing your command. What's wrong with you?
Hey, take your glasses off and look me in my eye and say it. No, that's right. You don't want that smoke. Oh, so right now we don't have any questions in there, but I got some questions too. I got some good ones. So obviously, as a Sergeant Major and Master Gunner, one of your jobs is to develop staff NCOs. So what kind of great advice can you give to someone that's either selected to become a staff sergeant or someone that's a new staff NCO in general? Like maybe they just moved up in the ranks and you can tell that they still need to be kind of like molded a little bit better as a staff NCO. Like what kind of, what can you impart on them to help develop them? Like what advice do you have for them?
I think, there's a couple key things. Number one is don't be afraid to make mistakes, right? Like, and I'll go back to what, Gunny said a minute ago, where she'll sit down and let her corporal help teach her a new piece of gear. I mean, I left the drill field. I went to the drill field as a sergeant. I came back as a staff NCO. things change. In the 3 years that you're out of your MOS, if you're not willing to go and sit down with somebody that's been doing it for 3 years and is a subject matter expert, you got to humble yourself into that. And if you're not willing to do that, you're probably in the wrong profession. Like, you've got to be able to understand that you do not know everything, and then have the hunger to go out there and read the TMs, read the pubs, read the orders, and help get yourself. You don't got to memorize every order. You would go silly if you tried to do that, but you have to understand where you can go find the information.
Absolutely.
For me, I can go off of my example. You have to have the humility and the hunger to go into it. So, whenever I sit down and talk to a young staff NCO, I always, I'm transparent. I tell them about me. Coming off of recruiting duty, same thing. I came off as a staff sergeant, and I sought out the gunny, I sought out the master sergeant, and I sought out the master guns, and I just asked them questions. But when I got to the section, I pulled the sergeants in. Sergeant Buckham, now Gunnery Sergeant Buckham, Moreno LaPierre, now civilian. I pulled them in. I said, look, let me tell you something. I'll make you a deal. I'm going to teach you how to have a conversation that doesn't have every F-bomb in it. You teach me about this new gear, because this gear didn't exist, before I went on recruiting duty, So we sat down and being transparent and getting into the pubs, getting into it, getting your hands into it, having that humility of, again, like the Gunny said earlier, you don't know everything, and going through the steps, we developed a great team. So by the time I knew all of the gear, all of my PFCs knew the gear. My sergeants went to every meeting with me. So I was grooming them to be staff NCOs and being able to go into a meeting and be able to talk. But my PFCs could answer the same questions that my NCOs can answer. So what I would always tell a staff NCO is hit the reset button. Hit the reset button. You haven't arrived. It's get back to the basics, be brilliant in the basics, have some humility, learn the pubs, learn the doctrines, but talk to the Marines that are actually on the ground and get back into it, and always seek out leadership. Don't be afraid to ask the question and say, hey, I just don't know.
I want to touch on something that you just said that was incredibly insightful, I think. And when you talked about, I'll teach you how to have a conversation that doesn't involve swearing every minute of the day. That's huge. As a staff NCO, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And in today's environment, your first impression may be an email. And if you come across like a 4-year-old writing an email, you're not going to get any kind of credibility. So I think that just getting that ability to communicate as an adult, that's what's probably huge too.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I do the same thing as far as taking them with me to the meetings, especially grooming my sergeants, getting them to get ready to get in that staff NCO hot seat, and having them sit with me like, okay, we're going to the sink, you're going to brief it today. Give them the opportunity, put them out there. There's been multiple times I've seen it where we have sergeants in billets, or we push them out and they have no knowledge, and that breaks my heart. So what I do, I take my guys, hey, you're going to do this one. Hey, they go into the field for 4 days. You're going to build your own chow hall. Start. Let's go. What all do you need? You're going to the meetings. Teach them how to do all that stuff. So that way they can sit down and speak intelligently. Sometimes you see some of these sergeant fit reps. I've seen a sergeant fit rep with 3 lines, like legit 3 sentences. Just like that. I think my whole face turned red. My staff sergeant, she knew it was over, because that's a fail on, staff NCOs and leadership, and not teaching those Marines. Once I get done with you, you can write a fit rep. Your fit rep you're going to be legit, because even now I'll do my fit rep and I'll still get it checked by somebody else. Like, hey, can you look over this? Make sure I'm not missing anything, because sometimes we can't brag about ourselves, or, things can be worded a little bit differently. So, giving them those opportunities to grow and build as a leader, very important. Bringing them into the fold and stuff like that. So, agree.
You know what's kind of crazy about, we're talking about fit reps, and I think at some point, even if they go to sergeant's course, we just go, okay, we just expect that they just figure it out. And typically of a unit, it's typically the sergeant major or first sergeant, depending on if you're in a company, battalion, or whatever, that you have. That's, I can't remember the name of it. Was it command what? The person that has permission.
Profile.
Okay. So there's always someone, and it's typically the first sergeant or sergeant major, that actually looks over the fitness reports prior to actually giving it to, to the CO for signing. But me as a staff NCO, or even when I was a senior sergeant, I would always say, hey, I'm saying I'm going to offer myself to take a look at your fitness report. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but sometimes, when you have that outside eye, you can spot it. And the problem is, if you don't go reach out to somebody, most people are like, they feel kind of embarrassed, like they should already know how to do it. So most people won't actually reach out, especially to their own peers, and be like, hey, can you look at my fitness report that I'm expected to know how to do already? You know what I'm saying? So why not?
So with that being said, is I've always said this to people. You have perfected how to be a corporal. You perfected it. And the reason why I know you perfected it, because the Marine Corps promoted you to sergeant. So who's the best person to teach somebody how to be a corporal? You. And vice versa up the chain. It's no longer about self. So when we're talking about reaching out to the younger ones and teaching them things, you can't assume because you did it or because you figured it out that they're going to naturally get it. I'm not telling you to spoon feed them everything, but at least give them the direction to get to the water so they can make the decision to drink the water or die of thirst. So you have perfected how to be that prior rank. So why aren't you the person that's teaching them how to get better at that rank and develop them to the point of where now they're getting ready to take your place? And I think that's where the issue comes with a lot of us older guys is, we got this, we can't be replaced mentality, or this is how I always did it and all that other kind of stuff. There has yet been one place that has stopped serving child since I've left. It's only one, and they actually tore that building down. But other than that, child still gets served even when I leave, and orders are going to still be cut as I leave the other job. So this cycle is going to continue going on. This is a business, this is an enterprise that has gone on for many years, and is going to keep going once we take the uniform off. So we got to get out of this mentality, not breaking bread and giving that knowledge to those younger ones, and stop assuming that they can figure it out.
Well, and I'll tell you, I was fortunate enough that I sat on two selection boards, 5 years apart, both of them from Staff Sergeant the Gunny. And there is no more important piece of paper than your fitness report. And it is shocking to me, and as I looked at, across the span of the Marine Corps, how many people just don't understand what they're getting in the fitness report. So absolutely, don't be afraid to go out and either ask for help or say, hey man, do you really understand what you're looking at there? Because it's shocking. I had no idea what I was looking at for fitness reports until I was probably 3 years into being a staff sergeant. I just didn't. I just, let it go. And, I'm not ashamed to say that, because I'm hoping it's a learning lesson for somebody, but you definitely got to that's one thing you got to get help with.
Oh yeah. So I got a good question from Master Sergeant Langford. She wants to know, what do you feel is one of the biggest issues plaguing the staff and CO community, and how would you recommend it be fixed?
So, I think for me, the problem that I've ran into across the board is the sense of I've made it, so I don't have to work anymore. I think if there's one thing that plagues the staff and CO cohort more than anything, it's that once people get that rank, they're like, oh, I don't have to work no more. That now that the sergeants will do it, or the staff sergeants will do whatever, I don't have to give my and so that's to me is the biggest plague. How do you solve that? You just start piling on more work and making that person get through it, and then And, you know, if you see them doing that, just remind them, hey, you know, we're a get up or get out friggin' organization. You know, you don't stay stagnant. Congratulations, you made it. It can happen after you retire. Until then, you got to stay hungry.
For me, kind of goes just right here.
Okay, whip it out.
The plague is, for me, is that we are forgetting who we are and why we're here. You know, like Star Major said, you know, you may have arrived at a certain level, but that doesn't keep you from working. And sometimes we need to remind ourselves that, again, it's bigger than us. And a lot of times I always refer back to the Staffing Seal Creek. I mean, obviously, you see, I got one at my house, I got one at my desk, and I got it in my phone. Because sometimes I get frustrated, and it's like, okay, well, let me go back and let me dial myself back down, and humble myself. So one of the things I think is plaguing us is, you know, we just tend to forget that we are serving. You know, you are the servant leader. You know, and we have to give, because the Marine Corps has already given us all of this rank at this point. Now we have to give back. We have to be the teachers. We have to be the mentor and push people to that level. And as a Staff NCO Corps, we can't attack one another. We have to teach each other and try to help elevate one another, because at the end of the day, all eyes are on us. And if we can't work together, we can't cross the aisle, since we're in a political season, we can't cross the aisle and communicate with one another, we're doomed from the start. So, and how to fix that, again, like I said, is getting back to the core value of who we are.
I like it. So I got a couple comments on here I want to go over real quick. So April said, be humble enough to learn what you don't know, even if it's from your junior Marines, which is a great point. Antonio Raphael said, and I like this one, he said, on the flip side, senior leaders have to be understanding of staff NCOs coming off special duty assignments, especially those who left as sergeants and returned as staff sergeants. All too often, these Marines are told, you should know this, you're a staff sergeant. Great freaking point. And I've seen that many of times where they expect you to have quals already so fast, or they expect you to already come in, and it's like I know for me particular, I'm not complaining, I'm just giving you guys the facts. But I was helicopters prior to going to the drill field. I got extended for a year on the drill field, so I did 4 years on the drill field, and then I come back off of that to a whole nother aircraft. It's like, hey, where's your quals at? Why don't you have your quals already? And it's like, I'm trying to figure out what an F-18 is. I'm trying to figure out what it is, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand the pressure of that. And you know what? I would say this. I'm fine with my RSs and ROs not letting off and still having that expectation, because I like to rise to a standard as opposed to, you know, for someone trying to lower their standard for me. I'd rather just continue to challenge myself to move up. But I've definitely seen that happen. And yeah, it was definitely not taken easy on me. So I'm sure there's other people out there that have felt the same type pressure. I don't know if you guys have anything to go on with that.
Nah, I can agree with that. And that's I've often said that if you went to a B billet as a sergeant and you came back as a staff sergeant, you ain't a staff NCO till you hit the fleet, because everything is so cookie cutter at that B billet. It's easy, it's simple. But when you get back to the fleet, that's when you start becoming that staff NCO, because you're dealing with your shop. You're dealing with the kid with the issue at the barracks, the one that's got the chick pregnant. By the way, she's married. And freaking the other day he hit somebody, freaking went to a whole, you're dealing with so much crap, and that's just a regular Monday morning. You're dealing with so much stuff, and that's things that you get tossed into. So sometimes I would have appreciated a little bit of a buffer, because I didn't have that. You know, it was you need to figure this out, but there was no help. And I hate the go figure it out thing. I mean, granted, you know, a lot of times drill instructors, we get hit with that go figure it out, and we do. You know, it puts you in a whole nother type of mode. It's that, you know, survival mode. But at the same time, if you know the answer and you can help me. That's right. You know, I'm looking to that as a staff sergeant. I was looking to that Gunnery to be my big brother, big sister. Help me. and that's
me.
and that's what I do to these young staff, sir. I will pull them aside all the time. Hey, what's going on? How you doing with this? What's good with that? I see you having a little problems when you come up to the meetings in the morning. Have you tried this? And I try to be that big sister to them, help them out, be that mentor as I feel we should be.
That's right.
Talk your mess.
Yeah, what's going on? No, that's exactly right, though, because there's nothing worse than just showing up and being like, hey, figured out. Well, you've already done it once. Can you maybe throw me a bone? For God's sake, come on.
Yeah, you got to give out those manageable chunks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, like I said, I knew that this piece of the gear did not exist before. So, I was thankful that I had those, those guys, the Master and Sergeant Davis is out there, and, the Chief Warrants of Five, Zackos, they understood where I was coming from, and they had that, and coming from a manpower perspective, and people call me and say, hey, I want to go here. I give them that caution, like, hey, the next 6 months prior to you executing these orders, you might want to pull this plug. You might want to call this person. You might want to read this. You might want to do these things, because you have to understand the last time you were there, you were a sergeant. You're a staff sergeant now. You're a gunny now. So I tried to, from where I was sitting at, I tried to give those cautionary tales. I've tried to give those things, but if I'm the guy in the seat receiving that person, one, it goes back to just those basic things. Know your Marines, and give them those manageable chunks. Not giving them an out, but give them manageable chunks of, hey, these are the expectations. These are the milestones that we need to hit to kind of get you back into the fight, and kind of already having a pre-planned thing for him. Hey, I got a guy coming in. He's coming from, RS Nebraska or something like that. Automatically on mine, there's certain things. Career course, whatever. I'm giving him a line of, hey, this is what I need you to do. Nothing changed from when there was PFCs. You did it for PFCs. You did it for Lance Corporals and your monthly counselings. Nothing changed because he's got a rocker. So,
I like that. So we got a couple more. So Anisha says, that's one thing I regret as a new staff sergeant. I was waiting for higher ups to come show me the way and take me under their wing. I should have sought out the mentor, even if it wasn't for those in my direct command. So that kind of goes with what you guys were saying. Kirk Wayne Thompson, give your RS your accomplishments. Don't leave them to guess on what to put on your fitness report. And I mean, it should reflect. If you don't care enough, to me, if you don't care enough to tell them what you actually did, because I mean, let's be honest, they probably have numerous people they do fitness reports on. Then if you don't care about your career, your own career, why should they go out of their way for you? Let's see. Brian O'Toole was saying biggest issue in the staff and CO community is ego. But that's absolutely true as well. I've definitely seen that. I know I'm kind of going over this, but I'm going to get to a point to where we have some talking points, but I want to make sure I don't leave these guys out. April also said some want to be friends instead of leaders. I've seen that way too much. Here we go. Antonio Rafael said the biggest problem within the staff and CO community is the dog-eat-dog mentality. The biggest enemy of staff and COs are, in fact, other staff and COs. What do you guys think about that? First of all, do you think that's is there some truth to that? And is that also how you view it?
So I absolutely think there's a little bit of truth to that for sure. But across the board, it's probably 90% where staff and COs are going to take care of staff and COs. There's always that one person that is either not confident in their abilities, or they're not a long ball hitter, and so how they get by, and make themselves look better is by making everybody else look bad instead of stepping up their game. So there's absolutely that, but I think it's more that people than anything.
For me, have I seen it? Yes. But I think I've seen it across the ranks, not just the staff and COs, where the Semper I mentality comes in and, hey, I'm in competition with you. And so instead of their healthy competition, I'm going to degrade you, and especially in the world of social media, I'm going to put you on blast, which kind of keeps somebody from wanting to ask those questions or say what they don't know. So yes and no. And I'm not trying to take a dig at you, Sergeant Major. I've seen more of the dog eat mentality in the 89, 99 world, where it was like, I was like, geez, you know y'all are first sergeant together, right? I'm like, I've always, because it's a whole different world on that side where, just talking to them, and it's like, I mean, I never got it. I think on the master gun side, our downfall is that I've arrived. I'm laid back and not calling each other on our BS. That's on our side. We just, he's messing that up, and we just kind of like, he need to figure it out. He a master guns. So yes and no. I can see how you can see that, but I don't know. One can spoil it for many.
Oh, absolutely. So Anisha also says, I think people also stay in past their time as well. 20 years isn't for everyone, but they will stay in for a paycheck, not caring about the Marines, the mission, just disgruntled. I think we've
on the road program.
That's right.
The road program.
Yeah, I think we've all seen that person that's like, bro, aren't you gonna retire anytime soon? Like, you just don't like anything, huh? Hey, we got something for those people. Kirk Wayne Thompson says, when I wanted to go to the drill field, my monitor didn't want to let me go, but he didn't answer the phone when the colonel called, so they cut me orders for the drill field anyway. So hold on, because you said something about being a monitor, right, Master Guns? Listen, what is this stigma about monitors not answering the phone or emails?
First off,
I'm not progress, by the way, everyone.
Despite what people may believe, we do not have the state-of-the-art phones in the March Center. We don't have call waiting. We don't have caller ID. And we do have to make head calls. I've had Marines literally send me emails saying, you didn't answer your phone. I'm like, I just went to the bathroom. I'm at my desk. I'm eating lunch at my desk. I didn't leave the building.
Yeah, that's right.
So sometimes you'll get a phone call and somebody keeps calling, but you're on that one phone call and Marine has a lot of questions, and you try to answer that Marine's question. So automatically, I didn't call the monitor 6-7 times and he didn't answer the phone. No, that's not the case. Or we just walked away from the desk. That's one thing. 2, dispelling the rumor about your monitor not letting you go. Although you may want to go really bad, you have to look at the overall health of the actual MOS. Everybody can't be out on an SDA at the same time and still having to maintain the missions and the operations across the board. And sometimes, believe it or not, your peers actually dictate why you couldn't go out on an SDA. Whether either they're there or they're getting in trouble where you're at, and now I don't have enough sergeants. I don't have enough staffing SEALs to go around. So because of their negligence, I can't afford to let you go because I have to control the entire MOS. Not making excuses for whatever that Marines monitor is, but I know I have told Marines that I do not recommend them to go out, and I state the facts. We're not the end all be all. We're not. There's a bunch of levels above us that this goes to. It's just like leave. We put our recommendation in, somebody higher than us may see it a different way and sign off on it. It is what it is, but it's nothing personal against those Marines. They're just looking at the whole Marine Corps.
I'm gonna take a stab right here, because food service must have been healthy as hell when they sent me them orders to OCS, but it wasn't your fault. He wasn't the monitor at the time. You knew that one was coming. He wasn't the monitor at the time. So.
Golly, can't win. I can't win.
What I just got from that whole thing is you thought you was on smooth as over. Like, yeah, we ain't been getting smooth over before. And the way it's gonna be like this, devil dog, and it wasn't really me, it was someone else.
I can't win. I can't win.
I'm just messing with you about the guns. But so Nicole Miles said, I feel that when you leave your MOS as a sergeant and return as a staff NCO, you have to put in the extra work, go above and beyond to learn your MOS, as well as be humble enough to ask for help. I definitely believe that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, for those that see me, not that I'm trying to get like any kind of credit, I stayed with a tool pouch on. All right, as soon as I got there, I checked out my tool pouch, I ATAF'd it, and I was on that flight line. I did all the PFC work, did Lance Corporal work, at the same time trying to do staff NCO stuff. And that's exactly what it took. Think about it. You have these PFCs like all the way up until what, they're a sergeant. They had all that experience, especially on a different aircraft. You go showing up as a staff NCO on a different aircraft, or they do, let's say they have different things that they've added to the aircraft that you don't know about, different systems. Now you're starting back over with the expectancy of knowing what you're doing. So you got to start from ground level and build your way back up to fully understand how to do your job, at least in my opinion. April also said there's other staff NCOs that will throw you under the bus to make sure they look good and make you look bad. Then you're defending yourself, and that caused a hostile work environment. Be in competition with yourself, not others. That's a great point, and I found that actually being more prevalent on the drill field as well. Let's see. Anisha says, answer that $1 million question. What's the $1 million question? Hey, don't throw it out there if you ain't gonna tell nobody. And Kirk Wayne Thompson said, I got lucky when I was done as a drone sergeant. I went to be admin chief and company gunnery sergeant for a 3rd Battalion on the depot. But so I got a little petty question to ask you too. Well, it's kind of petty, you know what I'm saying? It really don't matter too much. Gunny or gunnery sergeant, top or mass sergeant, does it matter? Or is it like, you got preference? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how I feel about gunny.
I'll tell you the term that I love is guns.
That's me. I love doing that.
When I said people, when I call people, everything, it's always GUNZ, baby. That's it, guns. Because I think that to me is just freaking on point. I don't have, not a mass sergeant, and so I would never call, mass sergeant top or anything like that unless they came out and said, hey, call me top, then I would do that. But now I love guns.
I feel like if you don't know me, you can't call me Gunny. No.
What do you feel about? Well, same thing for you, Master Gunner Sergeant. But like, how do you feel also about junior Marines doing it? Like staff NCOs.
Again, it honestly never bothered me. I mean, I've seen them, say it. I mean, it's been said to me, hey, what's up, Gunny? What's up, guns? What's up, Master Guns? What's up, Top? What's up, Top Guns? I've heard them all.
Top Guns.
I've never really. I was like, okay, that was a retired guy. I was like, okay, all right, Top Guns. I don't know. It never really bothered me. Settings matter. Obviously settings do matter. Having that professional decorum in certain aspects. But we out there doing cool down exercise after PT, and hey Gunny, can we do this? I never got hung up on it. I've seen it. I've got corrected on it as a sergeant. It's gunnery sergeant, not Gunny.
Very well.
Good to go.
I staff sergeant. Never forgot that.
Hey, Moody, let me know, because I feel like I'm kind of hogging the mic. Listen, I got questions for Dave. So if you got any, cut me off.
No. I don't have anything in my feed right now. I mean, I have my own personal questions.
Yeah, hit it.
So now that being that E9, you made it to E9.
Made it.
What's left? Like, you at the top. What more is left for you?
But so for me, what drove me because I spent as a sergeant major for 7 years. What drove me for the last 7 years that I was in is trying to set up the Marine Corps for the future, taking care of those aspiring. It's awesome. You talked about that Lance Corporal that you have, right? She wants to do some good things together. You're taking care of her. That's what I wanted to do. Just taking care of Marines, trying to be that inspiration that, the next generation of Marines looks up to and says, I got to be like that guy. I got to hold the values of the Marine Corps to be like that guy. That's what I wanted to do.
Man, the same thing for me. I mean, you've bust open the ceiling. You know, you gotten to the top. So what do you do at the top? You know, you hover. You hover. So for me, I feel like I still have more to give. That I still have that ghost I'm chasing. You know, Lance Corporal Mayfield. I still feel that there's more. My body's still able to produce what the Marine Corps is asking me to do. My mind still feels like I can give value to the future of the Marine Corps. And quite honestly, at this point, I still feel like I owe the Marine Corps. And like Sarmada said, I owe the Marine Corps to leave the Marine Corps in better position than it was when, you know, it was handed to me. You know, when I got those first blood stripes, I feel like I'm obligated to make sure that I'm setting the next crew up for success. And if they do it bigger and better than me, I feel good. I'm not where Sarmada's at yet. I don't see. They say you're gonna know. I'm not there yet. So I still feel like I got more to give.
I didn't know when I was gonna retire either, dude. I did not. It snuck up on me. 30 years comes up quick. I'll tell you.
Ooh. So crazy. Let me tell you, like, hey,
hurt my heart right there.
To that. 30 years. And the crazy part is, Sergeant Major would have us doing how many times was it? Twice a month? 2 Thursdays? Yeah. Twice a month. And was out there low crawling, like doing all the exercises, and smoke checking some of the other staff and COs. So hide your kids, hide your wife. Hey, step your game up, y'all. Step your game up, staff and COs. So actually, Mike Sierra says, Sergeant Major, I have been noting the last 2 commands that I have been to a trend of the battalion / company being more CO-led without the presence of the enlisted advisor. I'm wondering, is it hard for COs to trust their advisors?
Yes. If you allow them not to trust you, then it is. But I will tell you, so to every officer you'll ever talk to, they always want to come into the brand new relationship with the staff and CO officer knowing and believing that their staff and CO is going to be the right-hand man or woman. And so until you fail them, you know, and how do you fail them? It could be as simple as, I will never tell somebody, hey, I'm not sure if this is, or, this is how it is if I'm not sure 100% what it is, because that's how you lose confidence. You know, if you tell them, hey, the sky it's a light fuchsia and it's not today, it's gray, you're losing it, right? That command is going to just give up on you. And the problem is too, it's not just that the commanders, don't believe or involve their staff and COs, but we let them. They're only going to do as much as you let them. You step in there and say, hey, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, sir? I got this. And you just take it back. That's what a staff and CO should be doing. Take that back so that the CO should be planning, future problems and future decisions and all that stuff. You should be running the show. I used to tell people all the time, the CO commands, but I run, right? I run the organization. That's how it should be as a staff. They command it, you run it.
Talk dirty.
I like it. Yeah, I've seen that lately, where the officer and enlisted relationship is that line is fading, and we're finding out like last minute, oh, this is in the works. And it's like, when did this happen? You just so happen to be at a meeting where somebody brought it up. It's like, hey, staff and COs, assemble. We gotta save it. It's crazy.
Oh, that's hilarious. So Kirk Wayne Thompson says, I always ask before I called someone Gunny or Master Guns. I like the respect factor on that. Yeah, that's awesome. Antonio Rafael said, this is a great thing that you guys have. Keep it going. Let's go. Let's go, Antonio Rafael. Appreciate the love, man. We love it. We love what we do, and this is what keeps us going every day. Because I'm not to get too sidetracked, but I know we talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but I literally, like 2 nights ago, I PCS'd. I moved. I got stuff everywhere. You can't see because I got my background all, you know what I'm saying? All structured out. And same thing with my partner. She's coming out the field. So like things have actually been pretty hectic. We've been talking about it and I'm like, are we going to do an episode today? She's like, we doing it. So hey, best believe there goes some hard work gets put into that. So appreciate the shout out there, Antonio. So Kirk Wayne Thomas also says, Thompson says, pass on that 30 years of knowledge. April Mayfield says, trust and confidence in the abilities of, hey, trying to quote that promotion warrant. I see you. I thought she was slick. You just throw bars in there like we don't know that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Bars. Anisha said, I'm on my way out the door and I really wish I had something like this coming up. Hey, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Dante Falco is watching, so shout out to him. So like I said, I got them questions on deck. So hey, right now the live in the chat is still hot, gentlemen. So if you guys run out of time, let me know. But other than that, I mean, we got people still trying to fire questions. I still got some left. You know what I'm saying? So hit in the chat or let me know. If we're holding you guys too long. All right.
That's our Major Master Gun's bedtime. I told him. Like, I ain't trying to have y'all out here too long. I respect my elders. I respect.
When my eyes start getting heavy, that right eye starts twitching, it's just like.
feel like they need that nap. It's that.
So I have a question. So, and I'm gonna put a little bit of my own pizzazz into it, but education, and I want to give my kind of opinion on it, like of how I want to structure this question, but. So I've noticed over the years, right? Because when I first came in, it was like if you had a degree, it wasn't really weighed that heavily. Let's just be honest. Like going on a board, it was cool, but it wasn't like oh snap, they got a degree. As I started to kind of, go through my years, I noticed that having a degree was weighed extremely heavy on a meritorious board, on boards in general, and just on fit reps. As far as I feel like when you had a degree, you just kind of got bumped in certain areas. My whole thing is, why should education count so much if you're not giving that education back to the Marine Corps? So you're already benefiting yourself because you get tuition assistance, right? So you're already benefiting from it and you're getting a degree from it. So if you transition out, I feel you're already going to be set up. But I feel that if you're not giving that education that you were taught back to the Marine Corps by teaching classes or telling people about business or whatever your degree is, if you're not giving hip pocket classes in those things or showing how it can translate to benefiting the Marine Corps, why should it weigh so heavily that it actually does?
So, I had the benefit of sitting on two of the promotion boards, and at college degrees doesn't weigh as much as you think it does unless the Marine has done all of their Marine Corps stuff and then it's added on top of that. Because I would tell you that I've actually seen where, somebody had a master's degree and then you look at what they've done in Marine Corps schools and they've got boot camp and SOI, right? That means nothing. Like if they're not, yeah, right. I mean, so that actually hurts them because what are you doing? If you're spending all your time getting your master's degree, you're spending no time making yourself a professional in your service. And so, I think the degrees are important. I think education is the most important thing you can do, especially using TA, because in my case, I got a bachelor's degree and my daughter got a master's degree and it cost me $13,000 total. And that's for 2 degrees and because of the GI Bill. So that you should absolutely, get every bit of education you can. But I don't think that it weighs as much as you think it does unless the Marine has done all of their Marine training first.
Also speaking on retention and obviously, the competition getting heavier. Degrees sometimes do come into play with retention, believe it or not, when the Marine Corps is trying to make a decision on who to retain. And, your peers dictate how that conversation goes. If everybody's black belts and 300, okay, well, how do we separate these guys? You may have some MOSs where there is no follow-on training. So they may have a degree, they may have a associate, they may have a bachelor's. So sometimes we speak to those things on retention boards, just because of the nature of that MOS. You know, these are things that they feel they have to do to break out in comparison to their peers. So that's my only experience with it, as far as from a retention standpoint. Your peers really kind of dictate the playing field. You know, obviously the basics have to be there, you know, annual training and, you know, PME, but that PME plus may come into play when it's the Marine Corps saying, hey, we're downsizing bodies and somebody's got to go to the couch.
I'll tell you what weighed a lot more than in college is the JPME. Like, I mean, that was briefed a lot, and that would definitely be a separation factor between two people is the JPME. So that's another great thing to get on.
Hey, make sure y'all taking notes out there too. Hey, and make sure y'all reference the Ask a Vet show when y'all get meritoriously promoted. Can I get an amen? Oh man, what you got, T Moody? I know you got something on deck.
I got one. So some current event type question. How do you feel COVID affected us now, and potentially the future effects that may come? So how has COVID affected us, and how do you think it for future events?
Well, I mean, COVID has affected every part of the life. I mean, personally, when I went to retire, I was only allowed to have 20 people at my retirement total. I couldn't do a retirement ceremony. We couldn't do a change of command, or relief and appointment. Couldn't do none of that because of the COVID and at the time in Okinawa there was no cases of it. Now Okinawa's been a hotbed. Like, they've had some disastrous numbers going on. So I think COVID has changed and altered every part of the Marine Corps. I will tell you one of the best things that it has done. It has shown that we can do a lot more work from home, so people don't have to spend 16 hours a day in the office. They can go home, stuff online. They can do some stuff that way. You can do PMEs online. So I think that I'm hoping, and hope's not a course of action, but in my world it is. I'm hoping that can carry on and make the Marine Corps better, because there's no sense, with all the things we've had to do because of the COVID, why we can't do that great stuff in the future.
You're dropping bars. I like that. Yeah.
Ain't no comeback behind that one.
Hey, he took that mic and was just like ding, 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 ding. So we got Anisha said, we got that one already. Mike Sarah said, thank you, gentlemen, for your knowledge. Hey, shout out to you, Mike. Everybody that shows love is definitely getting the hand clap. Thank you. Anthony Vasquez said, hey, brother, much love from Fort Worth. Hey, Anthony, appreciate it. I believe he's still, I think he's recruiting still out there. Kirk Wayne Thompson said, advanced MOS schools, advanced academics, absolutely. Or advanced academies. Mike Sierra said, COVID has physically and mentally changed us as a force, or at least the junior Marines. I don't know if I want to speak on the COVID part yet, because I'm just now getting into the fleet. I know it's affected me. It's affected the NROTC, how we operate, and, from the separation and, part of the new school orientation is doing drill, and it's like I couldn't even do a proper school circle. We're at like some crazy distance for formations, and I got to try to scream with a mask on. And I'll tell you what, if you're screaming with a mask on, you're gonna get lightheaded. So like little things like that, I was like, I had to take a quick couple seconds. I told them like do about face, and I was just like about. I was passing out, but that, and we actually ended up doing an in-person one. I think a lot of schools were kind of doing it over the web, but it's definitely good to be able to do an in-person new school orientation. Like, imagine doing boot camp on Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it ain't gonna happen. So for what we have done, definitely, I think we've definitely do a good job as a operating force of finding the safest way possible to still get the mission accomplished. And just like Sergeant Major said, like being able to find out what you're really able to do when you're under these restrictions. And I think this has been some of the highest restrictions that I've had personally throughout my time in the Marine Corps. So good job, everybody.
I think this was with COVID, it's proven to Marines the age-old saying, adapt and overcome. We put it to the test because my command, we had to do the Alpha and Bravo side. So half of us would come in on 1 week and then the other one would be on standby, and then vice versa. So just in case somebody, a group caught the COVID, that group is the only group that's out. It's not everybody. So Marines had to step up to the plate and had to learn, hey, I'm the GCSS guy. You need to learn this because I'm not going to be here. I'll be on call, but I can't be here when you're here. So Marines had to step up. They had to know what was really going on and really take ownership of those jobs. But understand that the work's still going to get done. We just did a corporal's course via Zoom. Not even, and it's like, you're still going to get trained. You're still going to PME. You're going to get all this stuff done. I don't know about that CFT. Some of y'all wishing that CFT would be on Zoom, but that ain't happening.
MOK list. Hey, how convenient that everybody's connection is skipping while they're doing the MOK list.
It's just that pause. You just get stuck.
No. Go back around that code. No, that one.
Don't even look.
Hey, you ain't slick, bro. You ain't slick. How much that person weigh?
Like, is that your kid? No.
Yeah. So we got, let's see, Anthony Vasquez said, what's going on in the fleet, man? I keep hearing from recruiters going back to the fleet, including a little from yourself, that it's gotten soft, lax in standards, poor leadership from our peers, etc. I would say for my part, and I don't want to use this as a generality, but, especially being a drill instructor, right? Nobody ever meets up to your standard. And I'm going to be completely honest. I saw some hefty Marines, some, little things that we were taught from the beginning, right? Your sleeves, like your, haircut, shave, like little things like that. I feel that are kind of, the low boot blouses. It was just so funny. People go, "Oh, it should be neat in appearance. It doesn't have to be between the first and second eyelid." But I was like, "Come on, man." The mentality, the low boot blouses, the crappy sleeves, and hands in the pockets. Typically, all three go together. There's usually like a package deal. So those are all things that I kind of look for. I know it's not the majority, right? You got to think about the number of Marines, but there's still, to me, there's enough to where it's like, you probably shouldn't be going to that food court. You should probably go to the chow hall and go hit those hills afterwards, But I don't know what you guys were thinking from a E9 point of view when you guys either came back to the fleet or what you've seen from like newer Marines, newer PFCs, or people transferring into your unit. You don't want to answer that one. I'm still in. Don't do me like that. I think I know what I'm talking about.
I'll put it to you like this. I have a hard time going to the PX because it's like the minute I walk out of my office, I'm probably going to be in a bad mood because I feel like, how did you make it through the entire day and you just happen to run into me? Mm-hmm. And somebody says, hey, I didn't know the hair regulations, or I didn't know. It's like, I see red. I try to have conversations with people. I try not to come out of a bag. So I try to have a conversation like, hey, maybe this is a teachable moment. Hey, sir, you probably should put the phone down as you're walking through the PX, sir. I don't, every generation says somebody's soft. I heard that when I first came to the Marine Corps. My uncle called me soft because, he's a Vietnam veteran. I'm like, all right. Hey, sorry.
First of all, shout out to him. Hey, thank you for serving up. Hey, thank you. Much love.
We all can say, hey, they're soft. And, some people say, hey, why are we spending so much time on insignificant things when there's bigger things going on in the world? For me, the attention to detail, the small little minute things that you were taught in boot camp, I think that's what has kept us surviving in combat, because that attention to detail, making sure, the corners of your bed or the exact measurements, or making sure your uniform is there. The attention to detail for those things, and when you kind of put that into a combat setting, you have to pay attention to everything. I think my eyes was open when they was like, hey, they can take that bottle top and use that as a detonator for an IED. And I'm like, and I started putting bottle tops in my pocket from drinking all the water when I was over there, because I thought about that. So I don't know. I can't. I'm very cautious when people say, "Oh, the Marine Corps has gotten soft."
Yeah, I don't like that word. I know what you mean, though. I think there's a better way to explain it, and I think we take our scope and we scope in too hard, not realizing that the Marine Corps is more than like the 15 people you saw going to the PX.
Exactly.
And missions change. I mean, from the time we were mostly garrison, from the time that we were mostly in combat operations, from when I came in to when the deployment slowed down a lot. Leaving Iraq for in a lot of areas, and heading to Afghanistan, and then when it started to die down the most, to going back to being that garrison Marine. So I think that the generation now, I mean, just their intelligence level is amazing, and I think if we kind of honed in on their strengths rather than kind of focused on some of the weaknesses, we still need to tighten those weaknesses up. You would get a different picture of what you actually see.
Well, you also said it right too. When you talk about, that's the 15 Marines you saw today, right? You're going to notice a turd way faster than you notice something. Because the person that's doing it right, you're like, that's my boy. That they got it going on. But you see that dude who's walking around with his hand in his pocket, or he's a food blister with Charlie's on it, just like, God, what? No. So just take that with a grain of salt too. I just like Master Gun said. I joined the Marine Corps. Everybody said I was soft, right? Our generation's soft. And then, 15 years later, we started going back into OIF and OEF. They're like, oh, the generation's soft. And now it's, Marine's the Marine, right? They're going to do what you allow them to do. You just make the corrections. And I love what Master Gun said. Is it a teachable moment? Because you don't have to go in guns a-blazing. I always like to ask, make me smart. Why are you doing this? And make them explain why they're doing it. Oftentimes, man, you'll see them get all sheepish because they know they're doing wrong. Just nobody calls them out on it.
Correct.
So I want to hit on some of these comments, and then I got a question that we can kind of start wrapping up. Because like I said, I can do this all night. You guys are, first of all, shout out to the Sergeant Major Master Gunnery, son. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they made it. They've been lasting.
They've
been lasting.
Honestly, this might be the most engagement we've had in a little while. Like people are legitimately want to ask you guys questions. That's awesome. So I'm gonna go over a couple comments and we'll go on to that. I'll see if Team Moody got anything. So Kirk Wayne Thompson said we need to go back to spit shining boots and starching uniforms. I hear you. I hear you. April says people are afraid to correct deficiencies because they don't want to be the bad guy or guy. Oh, I love being the bad guy. I love it. Kirk Wayne Thompson says uniformity enables to forget about self and think about the team. That's a great perspective right there. Uniform, one form, us. I like that. Brian O'Toole says morale, courage. Oh, she was replying, or he was replying, not the food blister. And Anisha Shally says, as a staff NCO, I will still have male Marines come find me to correct a female. Marines are scared to correct other Marines. I'm gonna leave
that's always happening.
I correct everybody. I don't give a damn.
I will ask that male Marine, like, why can't you correct her? Like, right. Go tell her. Because and honestly, it hit different when a male correct a female on her hair. I ain't gonna lie. It hit different.
And when you get verbatim,
your bun is busted. It hit different.
What were you saying about that, Sergeant Major?
No, I said that's exactly right. I mean, the problem is that, go learn the regulations so that you can correct all Marines. You're not just, you charge some Marines. It's all. Read your promotion warrant.
Yes.
I like it. So, like I said, we'll start wrapping this up, but I do have, I have a couple things I want to kind of end on. So, like I said, I want to say, first of all, shout out to everybody in the chat that's been participating. We definitely had a high peak. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Like I said, shout out to this amazing panel. Shout out to T Moody. Hold on, man. We got to do it. I don't feel like I give her enough love. Shout out to T Moody. You know what I'm saying? That tight elbows movement. But, so one of the questions I actually want to, to kind of wrap up on is for you, Sergeant Major, if you're going back to looking at, private capping, you know what I'm saying? What would you tell private capping, and how would that kind of translate to like newer Marines that are coming in as well?
I'll tell you, that's a simple question. And number one, it's go back and invest money. Look at your financial situation of where you're sitting at, because money doubles every 7 years, right? And I did not start investing money until I was probably halfway through my Marine Corps career. I just didn't realize it. And nobody had talked to me about that, because they just expected you knew how to manage money. I came right out of high school, right into the Marine Corps. I had no idea how to balance my checkbook, how to do any kind of stuff, because they don't teach that stuff at school. And so I would say if there's one thing I could go back and tell private captain about, it's invest money early, so that right now, like I'm not hurting for money now, but it would be nice to be, a millionaire right now, right? That'd be awesome.
Shout out to investing that dinero. You're in the hot seat, Master Gun. I'm trying to figure out what you gonna tell Private Mayfield. What you gonna tell him?
I tell that knucklehead a few things. Like, hey, don't buy them shoes, man. I think I would have probably would tell myself, obviously the only person you have to prove something to is yourself. As a young Marine, I try to challenge everybody, because I always felt like I had a chip on my shoulder, So another thing, going off what Sergeant Major said as well, is I probably would have told the young me to buy property at every duty station that I've been to, and diversify my funds and do that. I wasn't too much of a club guy, but at the same token, I had my own vices, music and clothes, and, for the moment, enjoying for the moment and not thinking about the longevity of it. I always tell Marines, hey, this is the easiest, free, legal hustle you'll ever do in your life. They're paying you to stay in shape. They're paying you to go to school. They're going to give you a skill set. Then you can go to school and get another skill set, and they're paying for all of this. And they're putting money in your pocket on the 1st and the 15th. Take that money and put that money in different places. And I think I would have definitely told myself to buy, because I think I'm on my 9th duty station. I done lost count. But I would have bought property in every place that I've been stationed in, and I know I would be a millionaire right now.
Hey, shout out to that. That's awesome. Like I said, from what I got from that is invest your money, learn different ways to diversify that portfolio, invest in real estate, and just don't wait. Like, if you think of time as money, don't waste your time. You take the time to earn this money. Don't just spend it on things that don't matter, because, how valuable is your time? So those are all amazing things to kind of live by. Do you guys have any ventures? I know, Sergeant Major, you're retired. I know you're doing the ROTC right now. Do you do anything on the side? Are you, I don't know, do you have a skill that you're trying to work on that you would like to get to people, or do you have any type of social media you want people to be able to reach you at, or you like to just be in the woods solo?
No. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, but I don't have, right now I've got a 4-acre farm I'm trying to start off. I got my chickens. I'm trying to raise some chickens. I got some bees going on, so I don't have time to be on social media much, man. It's a difficult life.
I'm surprised you don't have a beard yet,
Well, so as a JRTC instructor, I still work handy.
That's right.
So I can't, I still got to be in shape and all that stuff, so.
Okay. You could have just told me your recon, but that's cool. I'm doing stuff on the side. It's G14 classified. You know? What about you, Master Gunner?
Well, since you brought it up, I am a published author. So, Gumbo Warrior, Recipe of a True Leader. So go check that out. It's on Amazon as well as on mokacia.com, MOKACIA.com. That's my website. Okay. I also have clothes. You know, I speak positivity into your life, you know. So you are above average. Have some things out there. I also have a YouTube channel, an Instagram. The YouTube channel is MOKACIA 504. I do a weekly motivation, just kind of get you upbeat for the week. I also have Mokacia Clothing on Instagram. So I do a little bit of everything. So my goal is to go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, you got to give it to him like you do it on your intro for your YouTube. I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah, let's hear that intro.
Oh,
I need some motivation.
Yep, hit that intro.
Hey, pretend I'm just down in the dirt. What's your pitch?
My pitch is very simple. You know what I'm saying? It's positivity over everything. It's MOKACIA.com. We changing the world one thread at a time. So, you know, if you want motivation in your life, you know, check me out. It don't cost you a thing to be motivated. You know what I'm saying?
504 till the meat show. Come on now.
Please understand that. Please understand that. You know what I'm saying? It's New Orleans to the world.
Yes.
I like how you said, when you said New Orleans, you had to add that extra accent in there. He said New Orleans.
Well, wait.
You know what I'm saying?
I tend to get excited. I tend to get excited. Like we said in the beginning, you know, we try to teach Marines how to talk, you know, so it's New Orleans. But when I get excited, it's New Orleans. So it's, it's Mr. 504 to the meat show. So.
You know what it's like? But it's like when you hear someone from New York say New York, extra with it. It's not, you know,
right.
They can be talking normal. It's like, yeah. So I've seen the different eloquent perspectives. It's like, yeah, I'm from New York. Like, oh, where did that come from?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
But
so you know, like I said, I've got the website out there. We got the YouTube channel. Obviously, we got the Facebook and the Instagram, and the whole movement is just about positivity and speaking life into people. And hopefully, whenever you wear any of my gear, it sparks a conversation, and somebody gets to know a little bit more about you, and why not represent the average person who's doing above average things. Everybody can't be LeBron. Everybody can't, you know, shoot a basketball and play football and are musically inclined. Who speaks for the average person, you know, because we all can be successful. We just have to be able to speak that into one another. And hopefully that's what I hope to bring with my clothes, with the book, and anything. I'm an average guy. You know, I'm an average guy. And I'm just blessed that I was a vessel to be used, and the engine of the Marine Corps has allowed me to be in this position. So that's who I am, and that's what I'm about.
Hey, I love it.
Oh,
what you got on me? You're about to say something?
Oh no, I said that's awesome.
Oh, he's like, oh.
Plug it.
Check us out, Master Gunners on. Check us out. We need you to send those links to us at some. Just if you can text us a link or something, because everyone that does something on here, we try to support. You know what I'm saying? We make sure we share their stuff out. We follow them and everything. You know, we want to support your YouTube, all that good stuff. You know, I do YouTube as well, or we do YouTube as well. One for veteran influencers and the other one for Ask a Vet as well. So we put clips on there. Also, on our we Ask a Vet page, if you guys haven't, please share that out. Ask-a-vet. Share that out to your social media, please. Let's keep these numbers going in. I'm telling you, the number of followers have been going up tremendously. Make sure you like and follow the page. Also on our Instagram, our Instagram, you know, Ask a Vet 1775 on Instagram. Make sure you guys follow that as well. We post clips at least like 5 to 6 days a week on there as well. Same thing with our Facebook. And then we put the full package on our YouTube channel. So make sure you guys support 30-Day Challenge. If you have not already copped one of these amazing shirts made by yours truly, Tight Elbows, T Moody. And make sure you guys do that. Go to tight-elbows.myshopify.com. Go in there. Like I said, we're going to extend that 30 days because I feel like we've just both been kind of busy. The proceeds go to a veteran. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. The proceeds are going to a veteran. At the end of it, we're going to actually announce who it's going to and what we're actually doing to help to benefit that particular one. And we're going to continue to do this. So please help us get the word out. We appreciate you guys being on the show. This has definitely been a pleasure and thank you. You guys took time out and you're on the East Coast. Where my East Coast at? And y'all on the East Coast. It's late at night right now. You guys.
You keep talking. You know they tired. Go ahead, man. Come on.
I got a race in the morning.
Safety brief. Hold on.
Let these men go to sleep
right now in a bathrobe watching Masterpiece Theater. But you know what I'm saying? Instead, you guys are on here with us. And you guys have given so much, not only to the junior Marines and the staff NCOs, you guys are spewing stuff and conversing with all the veterans that have already gotten out. So thank you so much. You guys have literally made the help to improve the community by just being on this panel today, by your answers, the fact that you care enough to give back to us as Ask a Vet community, and the way you guys responded and answered these questions. Just want to say thank you guys so much, and the impact from tonight is huge.
Well, thanks for inviting me, man. It's humbling to get the invite. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, I got you.
Same thing with me. Moody. You call me, I'm there. I really appreciate the opportunity, especially being in the bubble that I just left out of. It's not every day I get the opportunity to talk to people like this. So I truly appreciate the opportunity, and you guys keep doing what you do. Sometimes I watch you guys as I'm running, and then I gotta just listen to you because I don't want to bust my face open. So I do catch you guys on my runs on Saturday morning. So I appreciate the opportunity.
And just to let you know, Master Guns, we're going to actually start a GoFundMe to get call waiting and 3-way call.
I'm not going to be working that no more. Ain't going to be able to blame me.
Hey, we going to get that updated technology for y'all. Ain't no more excuses now. Come on. But just want to say thank you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. And thank you so much for what you do for the community. Absolutely. And we out. Gumbo Warriors!
For sure.